Hey everybody, hope you guys are having a great day. I wanted to get on here and make one more video. Well, I shouldn't say just one more, but make another video. And sadly I don't have Sarah today, so it's just me. But we wanted to get on here and kind of talk through a little bit of our bathroom policy. We didn't really get to talk about it at the meeting very much the other day, and so I just kind of wanted to make sure that at least all of our nursery workers are kind of aware of what we want to do and just kind of how we feel like is the best method of us going about it. One, I will start with the fact that we have very large class sizes right now, and we are 100% aware with how chaotic and how hectic it can be when you have 18 or 20 2.5 to 4-year-olds. So it really can be a lot, and we are 100% aware of that. But because of our other policies and things that we have in place, we want to avoid separating the class and leaving part of the class in the actual classroom with one of the nursery workers and then having another nursery worker take them to the bathroom. We really want everyone to go together just to avoid having only one worker with even 10 kids, 12 kids by themselves in the classroom while the other worker takes the other kids to the bathroom. It can still be a lot. And for policy standards and procedures, we just really want to avoid that. We think with safety, it can be, it can just cause issues. And so we really just want the teachers to stay together when they take the kids to the bathroom. So in order for that to hopefully go as well as can be with 18 plus kids sometimes, we had kind of thought through a couple of things that can be helpful. So hear me out. And also, we are hoping to have our third room so soon. And so also just let this be as just a little bit of a thing in the middle before we get that new classroom done and finished, because those class sizes will be smaller. And so it is always our goal to have those classes smaller. So hopefully this will just be for, maybe another month or two, and then the class sizes will be smaller anyway, and it won't feel like such a hassle to take the entire class to the bathroom. So this is really just a couple of things to keep in mind right now in this transition time as we're hoping for a third classroom. But even while you have that third classroom and you might have a smaller class that you're taking to the bathroom, hopefully these little hints and helpful things can still be of service. So, number one, we have stalls now in the bathroom. Yay! Thank you, Daniel Franklin, and all of your work, and I think Josh Tyrell and whoever else was helpful up there. We're so thankful for all of the guys who have taken time to their own time, their own free time, to be up there and just love the church well and do those things. So thank you. So we have stalls in there now. So one, that can make things go quicker, because hopefully we haven't had any issues with having more than one child go in there when there haven't been stalls. There have been 2 toilets, but so anyway, hopefully that hasn't been an issue. But now you can send 2 in there, and I think you guys will have to use your judgment on the actual child that is going into each stall, whether or not they need to actually lock the stalls. If the door is closing all the way, and I haven't been up there to know, to be honest, but so if the stall is closing all the way and you guys don't feel like they need to lock, don't tell them, lock the door. It's okay. As long as the door is closing all the way, so that other kids can't see the child going to the bathroom or anything like that. So I think use your own discretion with actually locking the stalls is basically all I can say about that. Ultimately, if somehow a child does get stuck, we can always send the youth helper or another child who might be a little older under the stall door and let them out. And there is troubleshooting that can come with that we can figure it out. So I think use your own discretion when it comes to actually locking the stalls. But our goal is to have, so you should have the 2 nursery worker ladies who are out there, and you should also have the supervisor. So the supervisor's job is to stay throughout the entire service. They just aren't actually in the classrooms unless for some reason they are needed in there. And if that nursery supervisor has already gone and maybe sat in the balcony so that they can listen to the sermon, you can easily pull them out and say, hey, we're about to do bathroom and we have like 20 kids today. Could you just help us just to have extra eyes out here? And they're happy to do it. That is part of their thing and part of their acts of service. Sorry, it's really windy. And so so they are okay with being out there as well. So that would be 3 adults and you have a nursery helper. So when everyone is out there, you have quite a bit of eyes that really can be helpful. First tip that we would have is have one of those adults in the bathroom. So because we have stalls now and because those doors are closed, that one adult that is in there can just be making sure that the kids are going to the bathroom, right now sanitizing their hands, eventually actually washing their hands, and then coming back out and then making sure another kid is going into that stall. So there's just like a constant flow of everybody going in and out of the stalls, going to the bathroom and getting done. It can just help it go a lot quicker, I think, if there's someone actually in the bathroom now. The other 2 adults and the youth helper, can be out in the hallway. And when we say the hallway, this would be tip number 2, is the hallway like behind the gate. So in other words, the only children that should be on the out part of the gate are the children that are going to the bathroom and meeting that other adult that is in the bathroom. So in other words, everyone else is behind the gate, in the hallway with the nursery rooms. I don't know how else to say that, but that way it's not an issue, and it just kind of takes off the stress, I think, of us adults of realizing how close the stairwells are and all that kinds of stuff. Stairwells, stairways, stairs. Anyway, how close they are. So hopefully that is helpful. We're going to start doing that to where they stay just behind the gate, and then you're only letting 2 at a time out of the gate, or 1 at a time, depending on when one finishes. And then they go to the bathroom and then you let them back in. So that way you're not having to also think about, okay, if this kid stands up and starts walking, where are they going to go? You don't have that stress on you. So I think that that'll be helpful. Tip number 3. I think we're on 3. Tip number 3. We are going to have a book box by the gate, by the podium where the nursery supervisors are usually. But we will have a book box, and ultimately we're just going to take a few books from each classroom. On that note, if you guys have books, children's books that you are feeling like your kids have outgrown, we would love them. So there you go. There's a tidbit to bring in books. But so we are going to have a book box there so that as kids are sitting, I would also have them sit. Don't have them stand on the wall. Sit. It just helps them calm their nerves a little bit more. If they're standing, they feel like they have to do something and their energy is even riled up even more. So I would have them sit and hand them all out a book. If they are just truly not interested in reading the books, maybe see if the youth helper would like to read one of the books, because ultimately all I mean is just for them to just be looking through the books themselves. I'm sure we might have a couple of 4-year-olds who can read, but ultimately it's just to get to look through the book themselves. You guys can call it hallway library time. You guys can call it whatever you would like. Maybe sometimes those little words like quiet or library time can help them. I don't know. I'm really hoping you can still hear me in this video now that my air conditioning is turned on. But anyway, so hopefully those words can also help remind them that it is a quieter time. But ultimately, it would just be something else to distract them, something to give them something to do. When they're in the classroom and there are toys everywhere, the majority of those kids are not going to sit and look at a book. Trust me, I have seen it a bajillion times. I'm like, oh, let's all sit and look at a book. And they're like, no, which is fine. They have toys to play with, toys that they don't always get to play with. So it's great. So they get to do that while they're in the classroom. But when they come out of the classroom, there are no toys in the hallway. And so it can be maybe something that they would be more interested in, to sit and look at a book while they're waiting their turn to go to the restroom. So yeah, that would ultimately be our 3 tips. If all of them are just, the books are just not working that day, that happens, and that's okay. Have them all sit down on the floor, and I would say as a last resort, have them sit like crisscross applesauce, Indian style, whatever you want to call it. And maybe even have the youth helper do it if that youth helper is comfortable doing it. But have them do like a game of rhythm with you. So like, you know, they're all sitting crisscross applesauce, like start doing this, start clapping, start tapping your head, tap your shoulders, tap the floor in front of you, like all those different things, and tap it 3 times, tap it 2 times, whatever. But it's just one more thing to maybe get their attention and to just calm them down a little bit. And remember that if you guys are using whisper voices and calm and quiet voices in the hallway, they will often, don't hear me wrong on that, often, they will often copy you and repeat after you. And so that can also help just lower the lower the craziness and lower all of their excitement. Yeah, I think that was it. Oh, and still use the rope. I think it's still helpful to use the rope to even walk to the end of the hallway. It just reminds them like, okay, we're actually going somewhere, we're going with a purpose, that kind of a thing. You know, we're not just all flailing around the hallway by ourselves for no reason. So, I think that was it. I think that was my tips. I'm sorry, I was trying really hard to make this video short and I don't think I did that. But hopefully that's helpful. And if you guys have any more questions, please let us know. But just know that we do see that there are a lot of kids in that class. We do. I promise we do. There are also just only so many things that we can do to help or alleviate that until we get that 3rd classroom, which is what we're trying, I promise. And other people in the church are trying, and we're working towards that. It just takes time. So yeah, so thank you for being patient with us, and have a good day.